Good morning students. Welcome to you all for class 9. So we see so many things in our surrounding. We see large particles or small particles or large things and so many things in our surrounding. So every small thing or every large material is made up of small particles. So in this universe every material is made up of small particles, either they visible to us or non-visible to us. For example, this is a chalk. Is it made up of some particles? When I rub it, can you see some particles on this chalk? So have you seen this? So when I rub this chalk, so you have seen some particles in the chalk. So what are these? So these particles we call as a matter. So what we call? These are a matter. So in the universe, whatever we breathe the air, we eat the food and everything, they are made up of a small or a particles. So then what is matter? Matter is a thing or a object which occupies some space and has a mass. For example, so look at this chalk. It has some space. So when I hold in my hand, this occupies some space on here. So have you seen this? So matter occupies space and it has mass. And what about duster? Duster is also occupies some space. So and it has some mass. So in our ancient India, we name the matter, to identify the matter, we give name as a Panchabhuta. So Bhuta or Pancha Tattva. So what are the Panchabhuta or Panchatattvas? These are the air, the earth and the sky, fire and water. So all these we name as a Panchabhuta or a Panchatattva. So in Greek they name as a matter. So first Indian ancient Maharshi Kanada. So name the smallest particles as a matter. So every material, everything in this universe is made up of small particles. On this basis, we see so many properties on the matter. So what are the properties? First, they have some physical natures. So physical nature of matter is made up of particles. So first one is matter is made up of particles. As I told you, everything in the universe is made up of particles. So duster. So this duster is also made up of some particles. Here is a wood and here is a scrubber. So using these two, this is a made up of a duster. So like that, the chalk piece. So this white chalk piece or a color chalk piece and other materials, they are also made up of some small particles, and the particles of matter are very small. So we see large buildings, but to build a large building we use small brick and a small sand and a cement. So that is a whole building is a bigger, but we used to build that we use a smaller particles. In the same way, in matter, so particles are very small. So either we may visible or not visible that particles. For example, in this chalk piece, we see only what you see? Only a main outer look of this. But when I make full fine powder and go on powder it, so it is not visible. We can't see the inner particles of the chalk piece. And an organism. Have you seen an organisms? So microorganisms, microbacteria, some organisms we can't see it. So they are also made up of some matter. We also made up of some matter. So everything, whatever we breathe, we see the things, animal, birds, they are also made up of some materials called as a matter. So in order to understand the matter is made up of particles, we have to do an activity. So take a small quantity of water in a flask or a beaker. So add sugar or a salt into it, or you may use any powder in it. When we add little salt to it, so can you see here, mixed both together well. So after some time the salt is disappear. So where the salt goes? Can you see here? Where the salt goes? So the salt mixed with the water, and the level of water, seeing before and after the adding salt, the level of water is increases in the beaker. So this shows that matter is made up of particles, means it mixed with some other materials, and we mix them in one and other. So next, the particles of matter are very small. So how they are small? So I will told you. So they visible and non-visible. So ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತವ, ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟನ್ನ ನಮಗೇನ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So to show this property or a physical nature, so I have do one activity here. So take again a quantity of water in a beaker. So add potassium permanganate to it. So when you add it, the color looks like this. When you add the solution, the color looks like this. And again check the quantity of water and take less water than this is. If you consider, if you take 100 ml of water and 10 ml of potassium permanganate or anything you have to use here. So again take 90 ml of water and add 10 ml of solution to this. So are you seeing here? The color is changed here. The solution of the color is compared to this, the solution of the color is little less here. So this shows that the particles of matter are very small. So we prepare tea, coffee and juice in our home. We mix sugar and tea powder and milk both together. They mix together and the particles of matter are very small. When we heat it, they combine and mix with the very tastily. So now have you understand this? So the physical nature of matter. So first, once again I will repeat you. Matter that occupies space and has mass. So for example, duster or a bottle or a book. So everything in the universe that has a matter. And the physical nature of matter are, first one, matter is made up of particles. Every matter is made up of particles. The particles of matter are very small. So now the characteristics of particles of matter. So now we discussion on the particles of the matter. First one is that, so the first property of matter is particles of a matter have space between them. So, particles of a matter have space between them. Space between them. So, how we say that matter has the space between them. So, when we mix two liquids, when we mix two liquids and we mix solid and liquid. So, can you see here? So, this solution says that when we mix another thing to it, we will mix with them, make them space between them. So, when we build a home, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಟಂಗಿ ಅವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಜೋಡಿಸ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದೆಮ್. So like this, the inner particle, so for example this chalk paste, or while you preparing a tea, coffee or a juice, we mix both together. So ನಾವು ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಂಬೈಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹೌದಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು, ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ದೆಮ್ ದೇ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದೆಮ್. ಸೊ ದ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಶೋಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇಂಟರ್ mixing with them. So next property, have you understood this? The particles in a matter, the particles of a matter have space between them. So next property, particles of a matter continuously moving. In a matter, particles are matter, particles are continuously moving. So why this happen? As the temperature increases, when we heat the solution or temperature increases in a matter, the particles, due to kinetic energy, they are continuously moving. So they are continuously moving due to kinetic energy. So as the heat temperature of the room or a temperature of the beaker increases, they move as much as faster. So this shows as the temperature increases, the kinetic energy also increases. So this is change for one matter to another. So this is not same for all matter. So for every material or everything has a different kinetic energy. So the next property is particles of a matter attract each other. So the next property is particles of a matter attract each other. So we play in our childhood ಹುಲಿ ದನದ ಆಟ ಅಂತ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ನೆನಪೈತಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಸೊ ಸಣ್ಣವ್ರಿದ್ದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬಾಲ್ವಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ KG ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹುಲಿ ದನದ ಆಟ ಆಡಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ? ಸೊ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಕೈಯನ್ನು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಒಬ್ಬರು ಒಳಗಿರ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಒಬ್ಬರು ಹೊರಗಿರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಒಂದು ಹುಲಿನಾದರೂ ಒಳಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಅಥವಾ ದನನಾದರೂ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ not so easy to release the bond and they attract each other. So for example, the magnet and the iron, how they attract each other? In the same way, in a particle, the matters attract each other. So in the particles, they attract each other. So this is a force. Again this matter for everything, this is not same. This is change from one thing to another thing. So now let us begin the states of matter. So these are the physical nature of a matter and characteristics of matter. So now states of matter. So on this characteristics and physical nature of matter, we classify matter into 3 states. So you already learnt about these states of matter. So what are the states of matter? So the first state of a matter is solid. So the first state of matter is solid, and the second state of matter is liquid. So the second state of matter is liquid, and the third state of matter is gas. What about the third state of matter? It is gas. So first one solid, liquid and gaseous state. So I will give you some example. Chair, ghee, gas, oxygen, water, chair, ghee, gas, water, board. So can you classify them as the states of matter? So chair for which state? Yes, anyone? Yes, chair is a solid. Why it is solid? Let us see. And what about ghee? Ghee is a liquid state. So ghee is a liquid state. So what about gas? Gas means either we may use a liquid LPG cylinder or a CNG cylinder. So this is a gaseous form. And oxygen, we breathe the oxygen. So that is a one form of the gas. And water. So water is in a liquid state. Which state it is? It is liquid state. And the blackboard. So blackboard is a solid shape. So now let us study one by one. So the states of matter are classified according to the physical nature and characteristics of the matter. We classify them as a 3 states. So one is a solid, another one is a liquid and a gaseous state. First one is a solid state. So solid state. So can you give example for solids? As I give chair here. So can you give a example for solid? So I will give you. So duster. Duster is an example for solid. And a book, tree, plants, all these are the example for solids. And a chair, table, book. In our surrounding, we see so many solid states of matters. So how we say that they are solid? Why they joined in the group of solid? Because we see the solids are cannot be compressed easily, and they have a strong bond between them, and it is not easy to break them. So can I break it easily? Can I break it? No. So can I break it? So we need some extra force to break the solids. So solids have a definite shape. The properties of solids: solid have definite shape and it has mass, and the breaking is not easy. So the breaking of solid is not easy. We have to put some extra force to break the solids. So force is more to break the solids. So now this duster and this spongy, can you see this? This spongy is compressed here. So can we compress this only a spongy? Why it is happening? It is a solid, but why it is compressed? So because in a spongy there are some holes are here. So due to this air is in the spongy. So when we press it, the spongy air will come outside. And now let us move to the liquid state. Liquid state. So example for liquid state is water, oil, juice, etc. So for liquid state, water, oil and a juice, and so examples are there. So what are the properties of liquids? So liquids, they have a definite shape. Liquids have a definite shape? No. Why? Because they take the shape of the container. Liquid take the shape of the container. Liquids take the shape of the container, and it has mass. Yes, it has a mass. So we measure liquid as a liter, isn't it? So as we know, the solids are not easily broken, but in the liquid, so can I hold my hand? So when I hold my hand, the little bit of level of water is breaking here. So we can easily break the liquids, and the rigidity as compared to the solids, they have a less rigidity and they compress easily. Liquids easily compress. So next one is a gaseous state. Third one is a gaseous state. So in gaseous state, we see use as an oxygen and a petroleum gas as a CNG, liquid petroleum gas. Example, oxygen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, carbon dioxide. CNG means compressed natural gas. So these are the example for gaseous state. So the properties of a gaseous state either they have a definite shape and has a no mass. So no definite shape and no mass. So gaseous state has no definite shape and a definite mass. So again, when we use oxygen to breathe, we can't visible it. Only we take oxygen inside and we leave the carbon oxide. So in the same process will happen in the plants. They take a carbon dioxide and leave the oxygen. Rigidity of the gaseous. So thank you students.